All right, so we covered a Becker for every season.
Yep, a Becker for every season, each one of us.
Right, now I think the mantra, well, both you and I, philosophy of use, whatever, is that we are personal choice. Again, seasons are different in different types of parts of the world, but
yep.
I think we definitely agreed upon the colder you get, the larger the blade.
Absolutely, has to be.
Has to be.
I think has to be.
There's no question. For me, you know, I'm going down to small little BK11 for primary. I'm going up to BK9. The BK29 was absolutely epic. But I will say this though, Eric, and I'm not sure if you thought of this. If you had only one Becker.
Only one Becker?
For all seasons.
Okay.
What would that Becker be? If you think about it, I'm going to show you my thought.
I know my answer. Do you want me to give my answer? Or do you want me to wait?
I want you to wait.
All right, I'll wait.
Maybe it'll influence you on what I'm going to discuss here.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see what your opinion or contrast what that may be compared to my Becker for all seasons. And I'd love to hear what you have to say. Again, we're talking about the Becker line from K-Bar. And so anyway, long story short, one Becker, all seasons, here it is.
Oof.
All seasons, the coldest the temperature. Cracking big logs.
I'd have to refresh my brain. This is either the BK2 or the BK22. And the only difference between the 2 and the 22 is the sheath package. And I forget, the knife itself is the BK2. But it's the sheath package that makes it the 2 or the 22.
Not aware.
Okay, so this for me is a knife I honestly could not get into. I have to say couldn't get into it, but it's not fair because I never cut with it.
Okay.
Again, sometimes you get into a decision where you need to say, well, I need to keep life moving, I need to pay the bills, I need to, you know, let a knife go for some reason. Got a good deal on a BK2. I did a quick video on it, got it in my hands, realized it was a little overbuilt for what I typically like, which is funny because I've been the guy with the bigger knife the entire time, right?
Yes.
But here I am with a knife that's not the bigger knife. It's the like efficiently sized knife, yet it's so overbuilt that for me, I was just like, I can't quite do it.
Okay.
And when I had to make the decision, I let it go. But great choice. I think that's a very interesting concept. So if there was the one Becker for all seasons,
yeah.
I mean, this thing is a tank. You cannot beat this. Is there a way to destroy this knife before it destroys you? I mean, I think you would probably die trying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe a claymore, but no. So I'm going to just really quickly talk about why, if I had one, and that, you talk about that one tool option, why the Becker BK2? First of all, length. I can't tell you how well this thing chops for only being a, what, 4.5, maybe 5-inch cutting edge?
Right.
Because that handle is actually skeletonized in itself, so is the tang.
Yep.
So you got some natural forward weight. You do have that full size handle, so to swing and hold that rear, you know, cutout in your pinky is amazing. Now you talk about winter. We are cracking some pretty big logs. We may not be able to go the span that we want, but we can still get into, you know, some good 4-inch. But you lay that log sideways if we put a crack in it, or it has a natural crack, and you know, you whack the log laying down lengthwise, and then you pry it open. I've gotten into the biggest of wood with this knife. Now we talk about, you know, summer use, spring use. For some reason, this knife for me, again, maybe just taking the time with it, and I certainly understand your point where you go, what the heck? There's many videos that saying this knife is not for me. I don't get the hype. I got the hype. This is how I got it. I'll tell you, this is a quick story. So we planned a pretty extensive trip through Montana, going into the backside of Yellowstone. And that's kind of after 9/11. You couldn't even put any type of sharp edge in your carry-on or whatever. So I ordered it up, had it shipped to Montana at our friend's house. And then I opened this thing up and I could see the concerns about the sheath. It's just very, very hard to extract, but it's gonna hold it securely. But once that's done, here you got the knife. And so my buddies were all watching me. I had this log that I'm telling you, Eric, it was this big, okay, 4 feet long, and I spent the better part of a night, literally, with one of its branches, breaking this thing down. And I tell you what, the pictures from beginning to end, a beaver might as well have come through. And then we're all dancing around the fire, chilling. There was only one tool. So I had to get used to the only tool that I had.
Right.
So now we go into some finer work. And you know what? You get into some really nice, this knife can carve fairly well too. Just that nice natural upswept. You can make your bow drills. It's a full 1/4 inch, okay? Flat into, you know, you know, I forget what you call it, so I gotta get my blade terminology up, but it cracks wood like nobody's business. And it feels great. It feels like more knife than its weight. It feels bigger than it really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I do.
deceiving.
Yes.
But I want to show all you YouTubers, viewers, and I'd love to see your thoughts on your Becker mods as well. Did you mod a stock BK7 for certain environments, and why? But I have a quick mod. It's going to take about 3 seconds to show you if you have a moment.
I think we got some time. Let's do it.
On the BK2.
All right.
So let me put it in here, and I hope the camera doesn't go below this point because I'm going to show you the quick mod. And I think I can even do this mod with my eyes still open, not looking at it. Bam! Quick mod.
That's pretty good.
Quick mod.
That is a ridiculous survival sheath. Look at that thing. Dude, you are built out, man. let me grab the camera. We're gonna get a little closer for a second here.
So again, this is the knife that I had in my Montana. It was called Expedition, and I've had it for many years. There are times when I've just thought about it, you know, and this is really before I really started watching YouTube. I said, what am I gonna do on my own? So this is really non-biased by any way, shape, or form. And so to start with, let's look at the blade. All right, so equipped to endure, Adam Francis, shout out to you. I tell you what, you know, this knife has been loved. I think it's been loved. This thing, I tell you, for 1/4 inch is razor sharp. I did my own little jimping. Okay, I just did a file, whatever, so a little bit uneven. Now, interesting enough, when I was in Montana, I was perusing through this old abandoned barn, and I found this person's like branding tools, and I found this little like it's almost like a Texas star. They heated up in the fire, and one by one melted in to the points that I wanted to by keeping the back smooth. So when I do swing, it's not going to tear into me, but the grip is unparalleled on this. Standard Gravry scale. I did put some glow filler in here just because I wanted something a little bit different. It discolored over time. I did sharpen the spine with hand filing, and it does work very, very well. Like you, I kept the coating on the, you know, the rear portion, so any moisture gets in those scales. You know, it's great. I do have my standard, my pinky lanyard, okay? No way that thing's coming off. Chopping, whatnot, okay? Always at the ready. But the big thing for me, and we talked about this, is the sheath. I just love sheaths. I think they're part of, as Doug, you know, Wilson from Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors would say, it's the system. So this is the system that I put together, and I'll go over it real quick. This is almost a whole video in itself. Before even the LEDs were offered in Maglite, a little bit of, you know, lighting there. All hardware stuff, by the way, accessories. This is split. This is actually a vitamin C powdered container. They're great for just keeping them and reusing them. Half of this is exactly, believe it or not, is first aid. I have a little antiseptic pack, a couple Band-Aids. There is tweezers for pulling out ticks and things. Other half is fishing. And I have this sealed with melted beeswax over top. So if you submerge, there's no issue whatsoever, and it just pops right out. I am a big fan of reflective. Looks like a pork chop, but knife is down. Got some bright colors. You got your reflective, okay? And in here, I think this is a U.S. military 9mm magazine pouch. Okay, I've got a very small compass. It's in there nice and snug, but it does come out nice. Nice original Silva, made in Sweden. Thing is like 20 years old, never had a bubble. Reflecting mirror. Okay, so we got that.
No, you just dropped it.
Whoa! Got it tethered.
Smart,
have
dude.
to.
That was the first thing I saw. I was like,
Good.
wait a minute, he tethered that thing.
Have to. Okay, you look in here, I got a really large water pouch, but there's also a wet fire on the bottom. Okay, if you're not familiar with wet fire, that's also a video in itself. They're phenomenal. Okay, but going to the back of it, okay, big fan of whistles. Love them. This is like 99 cents. I think I can actually hit it from, whoops. But yeah, so emergency scenario, you got the whistle there. I do have a retaining strap for your leg if you don't want to swing. Got some really good candied fat wood. I have some reflective fire cord in there, obviously, for making fires. I do have the original, fits the Allen wrench, in case you did one of those, which those will pry right out. But if somebody else has a Becker, standard, bolts, you got your tool right there. Got your heavy-duty shock cord, right, with reflective for that. Okay, we'll put that on later. This is a K-bar branded, like it's almost like a Warncliffe style. I have it a little locked in so it doesn't come out with twist tie. But if you need to do some really fine work, you can dig out even a splinter with that. This is a ceramic and carbide, believe it or not, and it does fit the thickness of the Becker perfectly. I do have some snaps to take off the dangler. Okay, so even though it's heavy, I mean, this thing is probably just under 2 pounds. For me, this is my original gangster OG survival system. It took me a long time to perfect, and in the end of the day, it's housing one knife that I really feel, no matter what condition, any season, anywhere in the world, without having to buy any aftermarket scales, this knife has gotten it done for me. That's the Becker BK2. So there was my quick field mod. Love to see what you guys and girls have done with either the blade, the handle, the sheath. Have you used the standard sheath? You know, it's ready to be bolted on for different options. And would you consider a BK2 potentially a knife for all seasons? If you had one Becker, what would it be? Would it be a 16 because you're a lightweight through hiker, or more of a survival, adventure, military, bet your life on your knife? Could this knife cover that for you? Love to see what your thoughts. And maybe Eric, maybe you might have a different impression if you want to, or let you use this for a while and see if maybe your thoughts on the BK2 have changed in any way. So anyway.
So I'm pretty impressed at the rig. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on there, and it would definitely be something that if you needed it in a pinch, that would absolutely get you by. I mean, a lot of great equipment in there. The knife, I'm still up in the air about. I bet you if I used it and abused it and learned to trust it, I would feel different about it. I think for me, where I kind of, I don't know, just don't naturally gravitate towards it, I would have to learn to appreciate it. But that's sometimes what happens. I mean, that's the great thing about all these different knives, different shapes, different sizes, different seasons, different reasons to use them. It's something that, you know, when I started with my very first knife, my SE6, I had to learn to appreciate it. I had to learn to grow into it. And it was that trust that I gained that really resonated with me. For something like this, I can see why it would resonate with you. The overall capability and the idea that no matter what you put it through, it's going to perform. So generally speaking, a little overbuilt in my opinion, but definitely bulletproof and something that would save your ass.
Agreed. Yeah, and it's been very proven. You know, this knife, I think, really bridges the gap of let's go big, right? Go big or go home. This is probably one of the most reviewed and critiqued blades of all time, right? You can't deny that. But it's like anything, it's a love or hate. And I think that the hate might be just because either not enough field time or when this knife came out, it kind of changed the market a little bit, going towards that hardcore big blade, right, Boosie combat style.
Right.
And for the end of the day, for an affordable blade that's palatable, you know, on the wallet, look at what it is capable of doing, right? There's nothing that you can't trust that this knife will deliver. And it's just the right length where if you want to get the fine detail work, you can. But if you need to pry open a bolt, a lock, because the Armageddon is here, or you're freezing your butt off and you're through hiking near a shelter and then have mistakenly lock it for the season, that happened to me. Horrible story, but it happened to me. And I promise you, had I had something a little bit thinner stock, my wife and I would have been left in the cold with the wrong gear, out of supplies, batteries were dead, and I couldn't get into that shelter. I did leave a note, and by the way, if that does happen to you on a U.S. approved shelter, you are allowed to break in if it's a survival situation.
Oh, I would have never known.
Yeah, you got to look up the laws on that, but I did research it, and they're like, you know, when I called back and it got to base camp, I said, dude, we're supposed to leave that unlocked. Like, really? Well, I literally got in it with this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Sick, dude. Sick.
Couple different sheets, very inexpensive. End of the day, just a different twist on our blade for every seasons. This might be my one blade for all seasons, the Becker BK2.
I love it. Nice choice.
Nice.
So, all right, guys, there you have it. A discussion on a Becker for all seasons, and a little twist at the end. A Becker for all seasons, right?
Absolutely.
Killer, man. That was a great blast. I mean, interesting, the dynamic. Again, a compare and contrast the styles, the experience, the collection, and the intended use, each for us being a little bit different.
True. Yeah, I tell you what, and at the end of the day, it's all about what you have on you. You know, if you have just one thing that's just your head on straight and you have no blade, you got to be creative and you got to be efficient. I tell you, one thing is you spend more time in the out of doors, you know, calories count. You can't be burning up and expending energy. My father taught me that from his military days. And as a kid, you have all the energy in the world, okay? You know, nowadays you're relying on a good night's sleep, the right nutrition, caffeine.
Yes.
But if you have that one tool, how are you going to maximize its effectiveness in the environment that you are in?
Yes.
But if you're planning for an effective trip or journey, or you're loading out in the winter, again, whether you're strapping on to an ATV or a Jeep or a horse or whatever, you know, you definitely are somewhat conscious. You can't have a chainsaw with you, okay? You got that one knife and it better fit the application, the season, in fact.
Definitely interesting to think about. Good food for thought, and again, definitely interested in hearing from all of you. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're keeping it moving on the out of doors. This here, episode 3. Moving right along, some great topics, and pretty much focused on blades at this point, but who knows? Maybe we'll keep it going with blades, maybe we'll mix it up, but the only way to tell is if you keep watching and follow along.
Exactly. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, dude.
All day.
So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Hope you like what you saw. Hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. We'll see you soon.